Good afternoon and welcome to the April 10th, 2025 meeting of the Rotary Club of Louisville. I'm Lori Flannery. I'm the President and CEO of New Directions. I'm the President of this club and a Paul Harris Fellow +1. I want to remind everybody today that if you have a device with you, and I would like to see a show of hands who doesn't have some type of device with you, if you will please check it just to make sure that it is either silenced or turned off for the duration of our meeting today. Providing our invocation is Club President-elect Ken Spavaggi, General Manager of ESPN Louisville, and Paul Harris Fellow +1.
Thank you, President Lori. Lord, as we prepare for the beginning of Passover Saturday and Holy Week next week, leading to Easter Sunday celebrations, we pray for the wisdom to appreciate the importance of taking time to reflect and rejoice. Give us fortitude in our efforts to help many of our community members dealing with the ravages of one of the worst flooding events in our city's history. Keep us safe as we navigate the challenges ahead. We ask for grace and strength as our Rotary Club teams with the bright side to help clean up our community in the coming week. And help guide our waterfront park leaders as they continue to maintain and build upon our community treasure by adding 22 acres west of 9th Street to the already impactful 85 acres of beauty. And thank you for your many blessings we all share, being in a club that lives service to others and a community that is giving and grateful. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Ken. Now providing for the pledge and the Rotary four-way test is Herbert Johnson, consultant for LCCC, which stands for Louisville Central Community Centers.
Thank you, President Lori. Four-way pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Four-way test.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right, thank you, Herbert. Okay, now it's time for us to introduce any guests that we have with us today. You'll see a microphone over there near the windows. Rotarians, if you brought a guest with you today, please line up at that microphone. And we'll wait just 1 second. As happy as I am that everybody is in a very congenial mood today, I do have to ask everyone to please pay attention. We're going to be introducing our guests to the club. There's some people in the back of the room that I'm particularly looking at right now. Please sit down and turn your attention to our guests. Now, Rotarians, as you introduce your guests, please introduce yourself first to the club. Then indicate who your guests or guests are, indicating their affiliation. Guests, when you hear your name, please stand briefly so that the club members get a chance to put a name with a face. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Lori. I'm Ginger Wallace, United States Air Force retired. I have two guests today. First, both from St. Joseph Children's Home. First, Susie Hillebrand, who is their Chief Advancement Officer.
Welcome.
And Leanne House, who is their Director of Development.
Welcome.
Hi, President Lori. I'm Ashley Brower with Max Strategic Communications. My guest today is Susan Weiss. She is the President and CEO of NetTango.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, President Lori. Corey Miller with the Cabbage Patch Settlement House. I have the pleasure of introducing my guest today, Lacey McNary from the McNary Group. She was curious to learn more about the club, and she has a special claim to fame. Her daughter is Maddie McNary, who was the Rotary Unsung Hero Award winner this year from Assumption High School.
Fabulous, welcome.
Hi, President Lori. I'm Jeremy Bokirk of Miranda Construction. I brought today with me a good friend and coworker, Director of Business Development, Keith Seals.
Welcome.
President Lori, Craig Mooney, CFO of Bussey Construction, also Board Treasurer and Chair of the Rotary Honor Scholars Program. Today, I'm proud to introduce my daughter, Aubrey Mooney, who's a freshman here at the University of Louisville in the nursing program.
Hi, President Lori, members and guests. Johnetta Roberts. I own the 40-in-1 company that does real estate development and community engagement in West Louisville. And I come with a crowd today, so bear with me. My first guest is Robin Bray. She'll stand. She is the founder of Bray Property Management, which creates affordable housing throughout our community and serves as a mentor for me. So thank you, Robin. Next to her, she'll stand, is Victoria Bray, and she serves with Bray Electric as executive administrator. And if you see the likeness, they are mother and daughter, two companies, second generation, and she also serves my consulting firm as well. Thank you, Victoria. Next is Angie McCorkle Butler. Angie is a consultant and attorney. She serves on many boards, just to name a few: Louisville Independent Business Alliance, Stage 1 Alliance, Stage 1 Family Theater, Listen, Learn, Act, and she has time to serve under my company. And collectively, we support Waterfront Park, so we're very excited to hear from Deborah after so many years of hard work. So thank you to my guests.
Welcome.
President Lori, welcome everyone. My name is Chris Monzo. I'm principal of Sandbox Design, protection firm. And I'm here, glad to have my colleague here, Justin Williams. He is founder and CEO of Big Snicks, which is a boutique IT firm that keeps your company running.
Welcome.
Justin.
Yes, good afternoon, President Lori, fellow Rotarians and guests. I'm Darrell Fuller, President of Tampa Partners. My guest today is Daniel Lee, CEO and owner of Human Development Corporation.
Welcome. What a great group of guests. Thank you, Rotarians, for bringing these guests to our meeting today. But guests, the next time you hear me ring the bell, that's going to mean that this meeting is adjourned. At that time, if you will make your way to a table near the back, it's got a placard on it that says, "What is Rotary?" If you'll just go to that table for just a few minutes at the end of the meeting, you'll get an overview of our club and what Rotary means. So thank you all for doing that. As always, we have Rotarians in the spotlight this week, so we will be noting those right now. Many of our members have been instrumental in the development of Waterfront Park and the new clay court space, which held its grand opening last month. I'm sure you're going to hear much more about it in a few minutes because of our speaker. But I want to give special recognition to Kentucky Science Center CEO Michael Norman, and also encourage you to watch the video linked in Sparks that features Waterfront Park Board Secretary Kevin Fields, who of course is also our Rotary Club Secretary. So congratulations to all who are involved in that. Roland Blahnik was inducted into the Goodwill International Industries Hall of Fame last month for accomplishments during his 37-year career that impacted the entire Goodwill movement. Roland grew Goodwill Industries of Kentucky from a small agency that faced possible bankruptcy to a large statewide nonprofit with the financial strength needed to assist many more people. He helped many Goodwill agencies in other states improve their performance and was influential in national governance issues that have had a lasting impact. So congratulations to Roland. Club President nominee Barbara Sexton-Smith and CNPE, which is Center for Nonprofit Excellence, CEO Das Ruprai, will be in the spotlight on Monday as they facilitate a Meet the Mayor listening session at GLI for the executive directors and CEOs of local nonprofits. So good work there. We want to congratulate Christy Flippins Bartlett on being selected as a finalist for the Today's Woman 2025 Most Admired Woman Award in the Nonprofit Leadership category. You can follow the link in Sparks to see all the finalists and vote for your favorites. So congratulations, Christy. So just some items of note as well. I want to remind everyone of our collaboration this month with the Mayor's Office and Brightside on the community-wide cleanup effort. You can form your own team and choose the date and area where you will work somewhere in the community, or you can join our Rotary Club team on Saturday, April 19th at 9 in the morning for the Beargrass Creek Clean Sweep. You want to look at Sparks or contact Deline or Michelle Black-White for details or to sign up. Please mark your calendars for our 3rd annual Rotary Business Synergy Networking event. That's in collaboration with Canopy and the Young Professionals Association of Louisville, which we call YPOW. It will be Tuesday, May 20th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at Independence Bank in St. Matthews. We want to thank Louis Straub and his team for hosting us again. This is a great opportunity to invite guests to come learn about Rotary, so I hope you will help spread the word. Now I'd like to invite to the podium Club Secretary Kevin Fields, Sr., President and CEO of Louisville Central Community Centers, or LCCC, to introduce today's speaker.
Thank you, President Lori, fellow Rotarians, distinguished guests, good afternoon. You know, one of the great privileges I have in this community, in service to this community, is the opportunity to serve on the board of this club, Rotary Club of Louisville, as your board secretary, and also have the privilege of serving as board secretary for Waterfront Development Corporation. So it is indeed a privilege and an honor for me to have the opportunity to introduce today's speaker, who is the president and the chief executive officer for Waterfront Development Corporation, Deborah Bilitski. Deborah Bilitski serves as our president and chief executive officer at Waterfront Park. And the sub note to that is that one of the best waterfront parks on the planet Earth, certainly a national acclaimed urban park alongside the Ohio River in downtown Louisville. Deborah is alumni to both the University of Pittsburgh and the University of Louisville School of Law. She brings over 2 decades of experience in land use and real estate law in both the public and private sector. Her career includes working with the Jefferson County Attorney's Office and leading the real estate and the lending team at Wyatt, Tarrant & Combs, a law firm. Prior to her current position at Waterfront, Deborah served as Director of Development Louisville for Louisville Metro Government, and she is currently leading the Waterfront Park Phase 4 westward expansion, which adds 22 acres of public space alongside the Ohio River, further enhancing the park's role as a vibrant community space and a celebrated regional destination. If you have not had a chance to experience the brand new Playport in West Louisville, which despite the flood still stands today as a shining beacon of investment, and we're really excited to have that because the children and families of our communities just love it. And they've been proving that each day. So it's an honor to introduce today's speaker, Ms. Deborah Bilitski.
Hello, Rotarians.
Hello.
Thanks for having me today. I think the last time I was here was maybe 7 or 8 years ago. So a lot has changed since then. I'm excited to talk to you about. And before I start, I know I'm supposed to have 20 to 25 minutes, and when I get talking, I get in my own little planet. So, yeah, maybe when I got about 5 minutes left, give you the sign. So, I'm looking around the room for a reason. I want to take a little walk down memory lane and ask everybody in the room, how many of you do not know, looking at the young folks, how many of you do not know what our waterfront looked like before Waterfront Park? Do not know. Raise your hand. Okay. Well, that's what it looked like. It was an absolute wasteland, environmentally contaminated, junkyards, scrap yards, sand and gravel operations, asphalt terminals, vacant, abandoned industrial buildings, and it was just a mess. I would use an expletive here, but I'm not going to. It was a pile of something you can think on your own. So, how do we get from this, which is how our waterfront was for a century? We became very disconnected with our waterfront, which is the whole reason, the Ohio River is the whole reason why we are here as a city. We became disconnected from it. So how do you go from this to what we have today? Well, it takes vision, it takes an entire community, and it takes a whole lot of patience. And that's what we have done over the course of 39 years and counting. And I am not going to go through this painfully for you, but I will tell you that since our organization was formed in 1986 with the sole purpose of transforming and reclaiming our waterfront for the community, there have been 39 years that started with community forums and included a lot of master planning and land acquisition and lawsuits and fundraising and construction in multiple phases to what we just opened here in the last month in our fourth phase, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But we've gone from what we had, which was a completely inaccessible Ohio River waterfront. You couldn't get there, and you didn't really want to anyway, to what is now 88.5 acres. I have to get used to saying that because it's been 85 for so long. 88.5 acres, 2.4 million visitors annually. It is one of the most visited destinations in our city. And obviously one of the best parks in our city. I'm a little biased, but I think it's the best. Another really cool thing about Waterfront Park is it doesn't belong to anybody, it belongs to everybody. And we take great pride in that. Our waterfront is for everyone. So we have visitors from every single Metro Council district, from all the surrounding counties that come to Waterfront Park. We have people from every economic background, age, gender. It's just a very welcoming space, and with all those people, there is an intense sense of belonging. That we have done some research, visitor profile and research that shows that about 97% of the people feel like Waterfront Park is welcoming and it belongs to everybody. So we've done our job because that is what the community wanted when we set about this mission about 39 years ago. It's a highly decorated park, and we were at the leading edge of riverfront redevelopments, and we've been studied by cities all across the country, and in fact, internationally, for the efforts that we have taken on to reclaim this environmental contamination and really bring this as an amenity back to the community. These are just a few of the awards, but Waterfront Park has earned the highest award from the EPA for excellence in brownfield redevelopment. We've won a Rudy Bruner Award, and lots of other organizations. And we're also still today recognized as one of the best urban parks in the country, the best river walks in the country. Even locals say it's one of the best places for free entertainment. So, all of this shows that when a community comes together, we have a vision, we all get behind that vision, and we continue to support that vision, that we can continue to be this kind of amenity for both the community and tourists, which I forgot to mention, that about a fourth of our visitors are from outside the region, they're tourists. hundreds of events and activations in Waterfront Park every year, which generate about a $40 million annual economic impact. And Waterfront Park itself has catalyzed, since we transformed this space from a dump, basically, into a community amenity, we have seen over $1 billion of economic redevelopment in the surrounding area. We just celebrated 25 years, so hard to believe, but the first phase of Waterfront Park opened 25 years ago last year. So very happy to have that milestone under our belt. What it also means is that the oldest areas of the park are now in need of updating and renovation. So as we are continuing to expand, we are continuing to try to update and keep all of the areas of Waterfront Park looking beautiful and welcoming, because the worst thing that can happen is let it go into disrepair and then it becomes a drag on the community as opposed to an amenity. But I'm here to talk mostly about our park expansion. Who has heard about Waterfront Park Phase 4? Okay, hands down. Who has not heard about Waterfront Park Phase 4? Oh my goodness, okay, just one. Maybe you should move up to the front. So Waterfront Park Phase 4 is a 22-acre planned, actually more than planned, 22-acre expansion of Waterfront Park between 10th and 14th Streets along the Ohio River. This is a project that has been itself 10 years in the making, actually a little bit more than 10 years. So this is how long these big massive projects take, which is why I said patience. It started with a master plan that was kicked off by then Councilwoman Sherry Bryant Hamilton, who put some resources toward master planning, identifying a site, and then since then we have been working on acquiring the land. MSD did a big project on a portion of the land, their big waterway protection tunnel, and when they finished with that, they donated the land. We've been planning, we've been doing community engagement, thanks to our good friends at 41 who are sitting at this table and have been close friends with us for the last couple of years. Kevin, of course, helps lead that community engagement effort, which, you know, hundreds of meetings and contacts and communications have been going on over the course of the last many years. This slide shows you where the park expansion is located in proximity to the rest of Waterfront Park. It is not directly contiguous. As you can see, it starts at about 10th Street and extends down to what I call the 14th Street Railroad Bridge. I think that's what we call it. Is that right, Mike? I'm looking at Mike Nagel. He's been actively involved with this too. Thank you, Mike. But it will be connected along our river with two projects that are close to underway. One is a Riverwalk improvement project. So we are working closely with the city to improve the Riverwalk between 4th and 7th Street. That's that area under the Belvedere that is horrible. It is dark, it is unpleasant, and there's not good walking area. We've been working closely with the city. That project should start this year. Hopefully flooding doesn't impact that. But it will widen the pedestrian and bicycle area between 4th and 7th Street, add new lighting. We'll come behind hopefully with some directional signage, maybe some other amenities that will help dress up the area. And then the other project, which is going to be hugely impactful, is the River Road Extension Project. That has been in the works for quite some time. It will extend River Road westward under the 9th Street exit or overpass and directly to the front door of our park expansion. That project, the timing is a little bit less certain, but it's getting closer to being more certain. Potentially could start as soon as late 2026. I really thought that project would beat us, so I'm glad to say we won that race. So this is what we had, and still much of the site still looks like. It's a neglected area of our waterfront. It is, this kind of sits behind the flood wall. It is along the Louisville Loop path, but it has been basically neglected for decades. It actually is the site, one of the most historic sites in our city. So the area right at 12th and Rowan Street, which is right at the center point of the park expansion, is the site of the first onshore settlement in our city. So right at the head of the Falls of the Ohio, after they moved off of Corn Island, they moved right onto this site. And over the course of many years, it was a lot of different things. It was some industry, there were some rail lines there. Eventually it was set behind the flood wall and it kind of got neglected. And honestly, there's really no higher and better use for this than a public open space. But that's what it looks like right now. So this is a map, very hard for you to see, I know, but I hopefully can give a quick synopsis of what I'm trying to represent here. So this area of Waterfront Park, really neat thing about it is it's directly tied into the adjoining neighborhood. So unlike the other areas of Waterfront Park, which are separated by a large interstate or other infrastructure, this section of Waterfront Park is tied by the street grid straight into the surrounding neighborhoods. And in fact, over 10,000 people live within a 20-minute walk of this. In fact, Barbara Sexton-Smith walked over. I happened to run into her with her grandchild, what was that, 2 weeks ago? Yeah. So very close proximity, very accessible, and so we're excited about how we're bringing the Waterfront Park and the Ohio River to the front doors of so many people. Another kind of hard to see from where you're sitting, I'm sure, but what we planned, this is showing that we are planning to build this out in phases, just as we have built out the rest of Waterfront Park. Any idea why we call it Waterfront Park Phase 4? Good job. Ding, 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 you win. It's a fourth phase of development. We developed the other areas. I don't think it was something else. I always get a laugh out of that. I don't get it. Why is that funny?
It's so obvious.
It's so obvious. Yeah, phase 4. The park was developed, the previous sections of the park were developed in 3 phases, starting with the Great Lawn area. Then we hopped over the Big Four. This is a fun story, I'll tell y'all. David Karam has shared with me. When we built the first parts of Waterfront Park, they started in the area closest to downtown, right at the Great Lawn, the Festival Plaza, the original children's playground, and the wharf. You would think, logically, you might just build on from there, but instead, they decided to jump out to the far east end of the park and develop that section, and leaving the Big Four Bridge as the last piece. Because you can't have an unfinished park. You gotta finish that middle piece, and of course everybody was really excited about the Big Four Bridge, so wanting to keep that momentum with such a big project that spanned so many years, I thought it was brilliant. I don't have any tricks up my sleeve on Phase 4, I don't know. But right now, what this shows is that we are planning 3 phases of Phase 4, so we've even broken it down to sub-phases. The yellow section there is Phase 4A. It says in progress. It's actually just been completed, as I will tell you. And we've scoped out another area, but all of the future development is really contingent on fundraising. That is what it is. And then but we do expect that maybe the next phase might be about 8 or 9 more acres, and then the third phase will be the remaining. And then there's a little piece. There anybody from Norfolk Southern in the room? Okay, anybody have really good connection with Norfolk Southern? I'm trying to forget. Anybody have dirt on them? Anything? We leverage. But there is the section that is not highlighted. Can you see where I'm talking about? That's about 3 acres, and I'm gonna get it. And it's owned by Norfolk Southern, and they're gonna sell it to us, or maybe give it to us if we're lucky. It's because they have no use for it. It's just taking a lot of time, but the time we have. So, yay, as was mentioned already, we have just opened the first section of Waterfront Park Phase 4, and it is a children's experiential learning area that we have designed in partnership with Kentucky Science Center. I can't call it a playground, that's why all the words. But kudos, hats off to my good friend Mike Norman and all his brilliant team at Kentucky Science Center for working with us over the course of, well, really since 2018. I've been working on this, and I know that's when the Science Center came in. And they've really helped us create a space that is so unique, really in the region. So, Clayport, hard to describe, hard to render, hard unless you were there to see it, right? I mean, whoever's been there. But this is our best effort at trying to do a rendering of it before we constructed it. And it is a play area that is divided into two themes. One theme is river, and we really wanted to bring in the history and the context of where we are into this experience. So obviously we're on the river, and we're on a working river, and the river's the reason that we're here as a city. So let's do some things around river. And then we also wanted to bring in a construction theme. And why would we do that? If you look around this site, you could, first of all, it's a place where our city was born. It's where our city was built and grew. It is also a location where massive construction projects have happened with the Portland Canal, with the interstate, and with the flood wall. So construction has been on this site over the course of the last century. So we brought in a construction theme. And it's not just enough that we just do a little bit of, maybe we create our own things. We wanted to bring real, large-scale equipment and objects that you would see on a working river and you would see on a construction site that kids wouldn't normally get to go up and touch and play and pretend they're operating. So we went out and we sourced all kinds of things from the region and we turned it into an interactive play experience. So you can see we have a very large dump truck bed that is a slide, and we have a conveyor belt in the background and a real excavator. We have a buoy tender. Here's my other favorite question. If you've taken the tour, don't answer this. Raise your hand if you know what a buoy tender is. Shut up. No one. Lori, do you know?
Kind of remember.
I know Kevin knows and I know Mike knows. All right, Mike, tell us what a buoy tender is.
It tends the buoys on the river.
Another trick question. A buoy tender is a real Coast Guard vessel that goes up and down the river. We see it along the Ohio that sets the buoys. Make sure that it's marked appropriately so that the commercial barge traffic and other boaters can navigate it safely within the channel. So we couldn't bring a whole buoy tender because it's massive and it would eat up the whole site, but we did bring a real pilot house, and we have real buoys, and we have real propellers from a towboat, and nautical chain and nautical ropes, and the nautical ropes are like so crazy popular. Have you noticed that, Kevin? Oh my gosh, we can't get kids off, we have to reinforce them. So really cool interactive things. We also have a small event building or classroom building and a restroom building and a parking lot that we've constructed as part of this first phase. And lots of little things that I can't even go into because it would take all day. Here's another way that the Science Center came in and elevated this experience, because it's not just a play area. We have added a whole layer of education into this experience through a system of signage. There are 41 signs throughout the site that give you, like you would see if you go to the Science Center, that tells you what it is you're looking at. And it tells you how the science behind it works. And there are 10 signs that have play prompts that cue the children to go do things, look for things, be things. And then we have 10 signs that have a QR code that are linked to videos produced by the Science Center that have fun demonstrations and experiments that you can do at home, when you get home, or that teachers can do, or caregivers. So that extend the learning concepts that we've started to develop here at Playport. So this is just an example. They're fun, they're colorful, interactive, and creative, and it makes this playground, sorry, I can't use that word, makes this experience just maybe if you've got a curious kid or two, or a parent that wants to encourage, they're going to learn something by the time they've left. Here are some actual photos, and I'm here to tell you this is what it has looked like every single day that the weather has been good and it hasn't been flooded. It is packed. This has been, the response has been better than I thought it would be, and better than I hoped it would be. So it seems like people love it. This was actually at our grand opening, but I have been there many days since. You can see there's the actual picture of the dump truck bed, the hamster wheel. Oh my gosh, you all, the hamster wheel scares me to death, but kids love it. There's culvert pipe. You can see a big tower climb in the background. The event building, of course, you can see the excavator there. Another thing I want to say that we took great pains to keep front of mind is accessibility. We created a space that is welcoming and accessible to children of all abilities, that have play experiences that can be utilized by children of all different abilities. So smooth surfaces, ramped and elevated walkways, ground level experiences. Because again, you saw on my earlier slide, our waterfront is for everyone. We want everyone to feel welcome. Here's some pics we took. Thanks, Kevin. We had a little pre-photo shoot. Kevin helped us bring out, Jonetta and Angie, everybody helped us bring out some kids who did a trial run for us, and it was a good time. Only one skinned knee, right? Just one. We didn't have Band-Aids, we do now. So, okay, what's a project like this take? $50 million and a whole lot of patience. So far, we have raised $36.6 million, which is a combination, as all of Waterfront Park has been, a combination of public and private funds. So we have state money, we have federal money, hopefully to come, metro money, and over $6.5 million in either individual donations or local foundations, philanthropic foundations. So we still have a way to go, but I do want to emphasize this. I mean, Waterfront Park from day one has been a community effort. It has been probably, I would call it a public-private partnership, though I don't know that's what it was referred to back in the day, but it's probably one of the most successful public-private partnerships that we've ever had in this community. Even in the first 3 phases of development, we have about 1/3 of that funding was through private sources. Even today, our general operations are through donations. We rely heavily on the generosity of the community to keep Waterfront Park beautiful, welcoming, and accessible to everyone. So thank you. Thank you all to the community for helping make Waterfront Park as best it can be for the community. I have a trivia test. I thought you all might be sleeping by now. So I wanted to give you the answers. It's like Jeopardy. So I'm giving you the answers, and then you're going to tell me the question. The first answer is 50 to 100,000. Does anybody want to take a guess? Anyone?
How many guesses?
That's a good guess. How many against a month? What'd you say? Birds. How many birds? Yeah, we don't have an accurate way to count them. Probably, I say geese. Sometimes we feel that way. What they leave behind. I would say that would be accurate. 50 to 100,000 people use the Big Four Bridge per month in a busy, like in our warm months. All right, 1,472.
Parking.
Nope, not parking,
Volunteers?
not volunteers. Hopefully we'll get them soon though.
Oh,
Go.
acres?
What'd you say?
Acreage?
Acres, no. 1,472. No? No more guesses?
Trees?
Lights, LED color changing light fixtures on the Big Four Bridge. So you would never get that one. That wasn't your question. 67%.
You completed that much.
Yay, you got 2/3. What was it?
You completed, that's who you are today. You completed that much of the
Well,
project.
I didn't do that, Matt. That could be correct, but that's not what I had in mind.
The number of people in the region that have visited.
That's another good one. I didn't do that math either. This is the amount of our operating revenue that we generate ourselves.
Wow.
So through events, through rental income, through donations, lots of other little sources. All right, 8.
Number of staff associates.
Close.
Your lead 8.
You cheated. That's right, the Elite 8. That's our maintenance crew at Waterfront Park. 8 people are in the park 7 days a week. We don't have all 8, all 7 days, but 8 maintenance crew maintain the park 7 days a week year round. All right, 25, and it's actually 24.6. 24.6. Last one, I know it's painful. Kind of you're warm. 24.6. I just found out yesterday. Does that give it away? We just locked it in yesterday. How many feet above normal pool the Ohio River crested? 24.6. All right. So on that note, I'm done. That's my office back there in the background. We're not working in the office right now. But who doesn't love a good flood photo? There's a Big Four Bridge. Thought you'd all see. Yeah. And that was before it crested, so. All right. And that show you how much debris we have to clean afterwards. It's epic. All right, that is.
Thank you, Deborah. So, Rotarians, if you have any questions for Deborah, if you'll line up behind me, and Deborah, if you'll stay where you are to answer these questions. I'll start with my first one. You do have that classroom space, and I did see it before the opening. How many people can fit into that space for a meeting?
That would have been a good Jeopardy question. 100. It's a maximum capacity of 100. Seated at round tables, 64. But you could do it classroom style or standing reception. You could have 100.
Thank you, that's great. And is there a cost associated with using that space?
There is, and we are almost ready to put that out. We are finalizing that right now.
That's great, thank you. I did want to remind everyone, if you please introduce yourself before you ask your questions, and if you will abide by the rules, the Q&A rules that are on the screen. Thank you.
Hi, Deborah. Eric Gervich with the Parks Alliance. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I've got incredible park envy right now. Phase 4 is just incredible. Curious if you could comment, there's a public perception that parks are nice to have. How do you challenge that day to day? What can you share with us? Thanks.
Well, the research is clear. Thank you for the softball. Yes, and I have park envy too. When you opened Alberta with Jones, so I get it. The research is clear. Parks are not, and we learned this really, it was a very hard lesson, but a good lesson during COVID. Parks are not just a luxury, they are a necessity. The health benefits, physical and mental health benefits are clear and demonstrated. The economic impacts that this has, as I've already talked about, are really pay back in just, year over year over year, the community. So I'm sure you have some other things that's good for children to be outdoors. It helps with ADHD and behavioral issues. It helps mitigate crime. Having, I get so tired. Please don't be one of those people that says, oh, you put all this money down there and people are just going to shoot each other up and they're going to trash it. No, they're not. They didn't do it to Waterfront Park. They're not going to do it in Phase 4. People care about this space, and when you activate and populate a space with good activity and good behavior, it pushes out the bad. I'm not going to say nothing ever is going to happen, but come down and see it for yourself before you say, oh, that's foolish to put that kind of money or that kind of investment in a park or in this particular area. But yeah, I mean, there's so many benefits that you can say, or you can quantify and that you can't quantify. So thank you. Yes, was there something I should have said that you wanted me to say?
Visit parkslineslu.org. Yeah, I mean, there's incredible benefits. They're our lifeline. They are the linchpin of our community. So.
And I will say, and I wrote I don't know if y'all read my op-ed in the Courier. I poured my heart into it, and every bit of it was how I truly feel. But, and I think all parks are valuable, but people's connection to the Ohio River goes back thousands of years. And it's not just, a nice thing to have. There is something very primal and emotional and connecting as humans that this river does. It's a leveling space. It's where we're all together. We're all community. And, I don't think we have enough of that these days. And so as much space as our public parks can do to bring people together off their devices in a welcoming, safe space, I just don't think we can have enough of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Chris Burek. I have two questions that I'll ask together, but I also first want to say that in my adult life, I have lived on a river the entire time. Both sides of the Mississippi, the Cumberland, now the Ohio, and I have never seen a better use of space as I have here in the different phases that you've done. So thank you for adding that to our town. I love it. And then my two questions are, why can't you call it a playground? And then also, with the recent flooding, what precautions and steps did you take to protect the waterfront? And have you added anything in the future plans because of the recent levels?
Great questions. So I will answer the short one first. Why can't we call it a playground? It would be misrepresenting to you what it is. I mean, it is not a playground. It is, am I right? I mean, it is much more than that. And I do fall into saying the playground, but it is an experience. It's like going to the Science Center more than it is like going to a typical playground. So if you come up with a better name for it than Children's Experiential Learning Area, because I stumbled.
I'll work on it. It just sounded like there was a legality behind it. You were very serious.
Yeah.
I cannot call it playground.
No, I can't. I just feel like that is not an accurate representation of what it is. The second question, I'm going to try to remember, what did we do to prepare for this flood? First of all, let's go back to those first pictures I showed you. And the fact that there was contamination and scrap and junk and asphalt and everything else that you can think of, and oil refineries, and sitting on pavement. Every time it flooded, all that went back into the water system. It was a terrible place to put those kinds of uses. I mean, I understand we need them, and no disrespect to good businesses that are in that operation. It just is a terrible place to line your waterfront. It made sense at the time, I guess, but in any event, we have taken that space and we've turned it. It was built with the understanding and expectation it would flood. I mean, the river always wins. I say that all the time. The river always wins. We could try to steer it, we could try to block it, we could try to, but it's always gonna win. So let it win. So the Great Lawn is a massive floodplain, and it was built to take on that abuse or that water with this particular type of soil, and with there's sort of a, what do they call them? Like there's grids that are underneath so that it can handle heavy equipment when it's wet. A lot of the areas of the park aren't built exactly like that, but every single thing we've done, we build with the expectation that A, it's gonna get a lot of use and abuse, and B, it's gonna flood. And so we've learned a lot of lessons over the course of the last 39 years, what works, what doesn't work, what we can do better, and we've taken those into phase 4. And everything over there is built with the complete expectation that we are going to have to bring heavy equipment on there, we're going to have to pressure wash it, we're going to have to take off debris. As Kevin said, we got lucky this time. This is an epic flood. I mean, we haven't had this high water since 1997, and it rivaled that. But it's elevated a little bit, and it kind of avoided the worst of it. But we have a flood wall that we construct around that building to protect areas of it, and every surface that you see there is built with the expectation it will flood. So yeah, we continue to learn. Every flood, we learn something. I mean, we've got a big transformer that's underwater right now that we just paid $60,000 for, like last year, the year before, over by the Great Lawn. That's what happens. But we are prepared for it. It's going to be weeks, though. It's going to be weeks of cleanup, and even if once we get the big debris out, painting the poles, fixing the light poles, fixing the benches, the trash cans, the playgrounds, everything it will take months and months to recover.
Hi, my name is Ken Grossman. Thank you for being here. As a native Louisvillian, those pictures you showed of what the waterfront used to look like really resonated with me, and it's remarkable what you guys have been able to do to build the waterfront. But I've got a two-part question. So this is the question, don't take this wrong, but living in the East End, you hear about the West End. What about safety concerns, and will people be comfortable coming down there? And then my second question is, you've mentioned community many times, and the waterfront is a big part of our community. And this wasn't my idea, this was an idea that was proposed by Kevin Cosby at Junior Bridgman's funeral. And he said, why not name the 2nd Street Bridge for Junior Bridge Man? Because he was such a bridge to so many people, and he gave so much to the community. And I don't know whether this is in your purview, but it wouldn't have to be the 2nd Street Bridge, it could be the Big 4 Bridge. And why not recognize him and his family for all they gave back?
It's a great idea, interesting idea. I'm not prepared to answer right now, but on your first question about safety, okay, gosh, this is a load. We could do a whole session on just that. I have a lot of personal thoughts about that, but what I will tell you is that Waterfront Park is safe. As safe as anywhere else in this community is. When you have teens running around with assault rifles, I don't care where they are, stuff happens everywhere, but it doesn't happen any more often at Waterfront Park than it happens anywhere else. It just gets spotlighted when it happens at Waterfront Park. But if you overlay the crime stats at Waterfront Park versus other areas of the community, you will see the crime in Waterfront Park is lower than many or most areas of the community. People crossing the 9th Street divide, hopefully we are giving them a good reason to that they didn't have before. I feel, I'm afraid to say anything like super superstitious, but like, as I said, 30 years ago, nobody wanted to go down to our waterfront. Nobody wanted to walk down there. Why would you? It's terrible. It's like dirty and unsafe, and we've gotten past that for the most part. Most people, I think, have embraced the fact that Waterfront Park is a community gem. I think we will get there with Phase 4, and I think we'll get there because people will come and see we've got this amazing amenity, and that the people that are enjoying that amenity are the same people that are enjoying it on the other side of the park, and they're enjoying amenities all throughout the community. You know, perception is one thing. That is something that is hard for me to address. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than Waterfront Park, but it is. I can show you facts. I can show you data, and I can also tell you that we have an incredibly wonderful working relationship with Louisville Metro Police, who are in the park 7 days a week, posting overtime detail just to be a positive presence in the park, to give people a feeling that there is, you know, there are eyes and ears around the place, and they have been wonderful partners with us. We try to make it a space where they can connect with community in a way that is positive and not negative. And we will continue that. There are cameras. We have it lit up like a Christmas tree. We have a couple dark spots that we just noticed right when we opened Playbook. We're going to light them up. I mean, it's just what we do all throughout Waterfront Park. And I hope that the perception is overcome just with a little time and experience coming down there. Because let me tell you, this space in Waterfront Park, sorry, Barbara, this space in Waterfront Park it provides the best views of downtown and the coolest view of our river that we have anywhere in the city, because you've got it right at the entrance to the Portland Canal where the barges come in. You've got Shippingport Island just on the other side of that, so there's a lot of great bird viewing. And the Falls of the Ohio just beyond that, which is within this whole natural wildlife conservation area. So all I can say is come and see it, and you know, we're going to see the positive impacts of putting an investment like this in our community.
Okay, all right, Deborah, final question. I see Barbara Sexton-Smith here. Y'all, her reality that she just described has got to supersede your all's perception, because thank you for building the playport in my backyard, because I walk right over there with my grandkids. It's amazing. Deborah, we only got a couple of minutes. Would you help our audience and our guests and Rotarians understand your relationship and partnership with the Belle of Louisville and the Marion Miller? Because I didn't know that relationship until I voted to give you more money in the Metro Council budget to make sure they didn't sink the bell. Thanks, Deborah.
Yeah, so there's so much I can talk about. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about that. So the Belle of Louisville riverboats, which consists of the Belle of Louisville, the oldest operating Mississippi-style steamboat in the world, real treasure we have here in this community. Also the Marianne Miller, and then we have a third vessel, which is the sort of office or central office operation and gift shop, ticket office, the Mayor Andrew Broadus, which is a life-saving station, another historic landmark. That operation actually is all owned by local metro government, but it has been through agreement delegated, I guess. Management of that operation is delegated to Waterfront, and it makes sense. I mean, we're all sitting there on the river, and we're all kind of collaborating and working together. So yes, and Barbara is absolutely right. She saved the Belle. You should give her a huge thank you, because and I know she loves it, and we love that you love it, and appreciate all your support. But yeah, it is. It is just the coolest thing. Krista Snyder, who's the new, well, I say new now, it's been 6 or so years, CEO of the Belle, has just done some really cool things to reconnect the Belle with our community and make it more relevant and give you all a reason to come back. So if you haven't, take a look at the schedule once she gets cruising again, and you might be surprised.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you for using your professional talents and your expertise and your patience for making this such a community asset for everyone who lives in our community. Let's give her one more. All right, next week's meeting will be here, same time, same place. We're going to have Deputy Mayor David James and Misty Wright. They're going to be our joint speakers. Misty is the Executive Director of Community Safety with local metro government, and we will learn about the city's collaborative approach to reducing gun violence and hear an update also from our club's Gun Violence Reduction Committee. So that should be a very interesting meeting. Please RSVP by noon on Monday, or of course you can use to scan the QR code before you leave today. Guests, please remember to hit the What is Rotary table as you exit. And you can tell because it says What is Rotary on it. And we are adjourned. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week.